Good morning and welcome to the Daily Light Devotion. I hope all of you have had a wonderful Friday and looking forward to today. That is the 13th of September. Today we're going to look at, Acts chapter 24, verses 10 to 21. And we are going to look at Paul's defense. Yesterday we looked at, he was brought in front of the governor, Governor Felix, sorry, not King, and Ananias, the elders of the temple in the of Jerusalem had come with a very eloquent lawyer, Tertullius, and had accused Paul of kind of treason and for all the false accusations. Today we're going to look at Paul's defense. So the title of today's um, devotion is Paul's bold defense. So Paul was finally given a chance, an opportunity to speak, and instead of fear or compromise against the false accusation, he spoke with boldness and clarity, standing firmly on the truth of Christ. His defense shows us how to respond with confidence when falsely accused. So, verse 10 says, Then Paul, after the governor had nodded to him to speak, answered, Inasmuch as I know that you have been for many years a judge of this nation, I do not more cheerfully answer for myself. So, Paul began with respect, right? But without flattery, unlike Tertullius. His confidence came from knowing that he was innocent before God. And we can answer boldly when our conscience is clear before the Lord, right? And he says in verses 11 to 13, he says, Because you may ascertain that it is no more than 12 days since I went up to Jerusalem to worship, and they neither found me in the temple disputing with anyone, nor inciting the crowd, either in the synagogue or in the city, nor can they prove things which they now accuse me of. So, Paul calmly dismantled their lies with facts, right? He was in Jerusalem for worship, not for rebellion, right? And his accusers had no evidence. So lies collapse when confronted with the truth and spoken with clarity. And that's what Paul is doing here, right? Verses 14 to 16 say, But this I confess to you, that according to the way which they call a sect, so I worship the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. I have hope in God, which they themselves also accept, that there will be a resurrection from the dead, both of the just and the unjust. This being so, I myself always strive to have a conscience without offense towards God and men. So Paul openly declared his faith, right? He didn't deny following Christ, but showed continuity with the scriptures, the extension of the scriptures from the Old Testament to the New, right? And his hope was in resurrection, and his life was lived with a clean conscience before everyone, God and people, right? So when we are falsely accused, let our confession of Christ be louder than our defense of self, and that's what Paul is doing. He is, confessing Christ, the resurrected Christ. Verses 17 and 19 say, Now after many years I came to bring alms and offering to my nation, in the midst of which some Jews from Asia found me purified in the temple, neither with mob nor with tumult. They ought to have been here before you to object if they had anything against me. So Paul explained his true purpose and charity and worship. His accusers were not even present, providing the weakness of their case. So that is godly wisdom. He says, Whoever found me guilty, those people are not there right now, right? God knows our true motives, even when others misrepresent them. And we see that here, right? Verses 20 and 21. Or else let those who are here themselves say if they found any wrongdoing in me while I stood before the council. unless it is for this one statement which I cried out, standing amongst them, right? Concerning the resurrection of the dead, I am being judged by you this day. So Paul pointed out the real issue was his faith in the resurrection through Jesus Christ. And this trial was not being about lawbreaking, but about the gospel. And the resurrection remains the dividing line. Those who stand in on it will face opposition, but also walk in unshakable hope. So we see in these verses that we need to be respectful and bold when giving our defense in front of the worldly authority, right? Because we know the final authority is Jesus. We need to stand firm in the truth with when falsehood cannot stand against clear facts. And let our confession be of Christ, to be central, not hidden, right? And trust God to reveal our true motives when others twist them. And finally, remember one more application is never forget the resurrection is our firm foundation, even when the world opposes it, right? And that's why the first, century, believers, the apostles, the believers, the disciples were able to share the gospel all over the world because they knew the resurrected Christ. And as disciples, we must know the resurrected Christ. It sets us free. It has power. It has the truth. It brings liberty, right? So, what is my encouragement to you today? Like Paul's defense teaches us, our greatest testimony is not just providing our innocence and defending ourselves, but in proclaiming our faith. When accused, maligned, or misunderstood, we can rest in the hope of the resurrection and live with a conscience clean before God. And that's very important. And we need to stand in the truth. We need to know that. And we need to know that God is on our side when we're, standing for the gospel. I hope this encourages you. I wish you a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful Saturday. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.